Okay, so today we're going to take a look at the law of sines, and so Unit 3 will be over law of sines and law of cosines. So we're going to start with law of sines, and we use law of sines when we have a non-right triangle or an oblique triangle, and we're going to be looking for missing angles or missing sides and things like that. So when in order to use law of sines, you need to be given either two angles and a side, either two angles in the included side or two angles in the non-included side, or two sides in a non-included angle. So here is the equation for the law of sines, and what it says is that the sine of angle A over side A is equal to the sine of angle B over side B, which is also equal to the sine of angle C over side C. Or, and then this is just the reciprocal of this. And just a quick reminder, when we were looking at a triangle and an angle is angle A, the side opposite is your lowercase a. So if this is angle B, this side here would be side B, and we use a lowercase b for that. Angle C, side C. It's a cross from. So on this particular picture, I've got angle A, and I have little a, so I've got a angle a side pair, so meaning I have angle A and side A. I have angle C, and I'm looking for side C. So I have an angle side pair, and then I have an angle, and I'm looking for the side opposite. So I will come up here, and I will use, all you need is two of these to make a proportion. So I am going to do the sine of 17, that's angle A, over the side opposite that, which is 6, which would equal the sine of angle 70 over the side opposite that. And then at that point, I have a proportion, and I can cross multiply to find that angle measure. Sorry, that side length. So I'm going to cross multiply, and I get C times the sine of 17 equals 6 times the sine of 70. To get C by itself, I would divide both sides by the sine of 17. So that will cancel, and C will equal, and I get my calculator. You're going to make sure, if you go to your mode, that you are in degrees. So I am in degrees, so I can second quit that. So I will be typing in my calculator this right here. So 6 sine of 70, you're going to want to close your parenthesis, divided by the sine of 17. Close your parenthesis. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth, so 19.3. And that would be whatever our unit is, and so that's side C. So on this one, you can see I have angle B and I have the side opposite B. I'm looking for angle A, and I have the side opposite angle A, which is little a. So this is B, this is little b. So I have an angle side pair and an angle that I'm trying to find and its opposite side. So I have enough information to use the law of sines. So I will do sine of 19 over the side opposite, which is 15.3, equals the sine of A, which is what I'm looking for, over the side opposite, which is 22. So I will cross multiply. So at 15.3 sine of A equals 22 times the sine of 19 I want to get the sine of A by itself, so I'm going to divide by 15.3 on both sides. So I have the sine of A equals, and I'm going to keep this as 22, sine of 19 over 15.3. So remember, whenever we're trying to find an angle, that's when we use the inverse sine. So I will put in my calculator inverse sine of 22 sine of 19 over 15.3. That's what I'll type in my calculator, and that will give me angle A. So let me show you that. So I'm going to come over here. So second sine 22 sine 19, close that parenthesis, divided by 15.3, close that parenthesis, and then enter. So that's my angle measure, and we're going to go ahead and just round those to the nearest whole degree. So that would be 28 degrees. We're not going to put them in DMS like we did the other angles. We're just going to round to the nearest whole degree. So angle A is 28 degrees. So in this last example, I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture. I've got an obtuse angle, so I'll kind of try and make my triangle look obtuse. So this is angle A. I'll make this angle B, and this be angle C. So this is 142. Angle B is 30 degrees. And I have side C, which would be opposite, that would be over here, is 125. And it says find all the missing parts. So first of all, remember when we were doing triangles earlier, when we had the right triangles and we had two angles, we could always find the third one by doing 180 minus the other two. So I'm going to find angle C first. So the measure of angle C is going to be 180, because the sum of all the angles in a triangle are 180, minus 30 degrees minus 142. So the measure of angle C equals, let's get our calculator, 180 minus 30 minus 142 is 8 degrees. So angle C is 8 degrees. So I can go ahead and fill that in, 8 degrees. Now it's kind of nice when I have the angle and the side opposite right here. So you see that I have an angle side pair. So I can use law of sines. So I'm going to do the sine of 8 degrees over the side opposite, which is 125, equals, now I've got to decide, am I going to find A first or B? I can do either one. Let's find A, just because we'll do it in alphabetical order. So I have to look at the angle opposite of A, and that's going to be the sine of 142 over side A, what I'm looking for. So then I will cross multiply, and I get A sine of 8 degrees equals 125 times the sine of 142. I want to get my A by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 8 degrees. So A will equal, and this is what I will be typing in my calculator. So I'll come over here, I'll do 125 sine of 142, make sure you close your parenthesis, divided by the sine of 8, close your parenthesis, equals, and A equals 552.9. That 6 will cause my 9 to round up, so 553. That's side A. So I'll come back over here. Now, unfortunately, this is not a right triangle, so I can't do a squared plus b squared equals c squared because it's not a right triangle. So I have to use the law of sines again to find side B. So I'm going to do the same setup I did here first. Sine of 8 degrees over the side opposite. Now, since I'm finding B, I have to do the sine of B, so sine of 30 degrees over my side opposite, which is B. I'll cross multiply, so B sine 8 degrees equals 125 times the sine of 30 degrees. I want to get B by itself, so I'll divide by the sine of 8 degrees, and then B will equal, this is what I'll be putting in my calculator. So I'll come over here. So 125 sine of 30 degrees, close my parenthesis, divided by the sine of 8 degrees, close my parenthesis, and that will be 449, and if I round to the nearest tenth, that 8 right here will cause my 0 to go to a 1. So side B is 449.1. So then I have found all my missing parts. So this is 553, we said, from down here, and B is 449.1. So there is how the law of sines works. You need, remember, you have to have an angle side pair. Up here we had an angle side pair, and over here we had an angle side pair. So we know we can use that to find the missing part. So tomorrow we're going to take a look at word problems using the law of sines.